All right, so while I've been waiting for this to dry, which is still not completely dry, but if you look at it, that looks really good. I like all the grain that you can see in it. I wish it was going straight up and down, I guess, but it really doesn't matter. It still looks really good. Tomato, tomato. So, anyways, while I was waiting for that, I went ahead and trimmed some more on this. If you can see on the back here, I just made it much. I took off all the extra where I needed to, because there is a whole bunch actually sticking out back here, about out to where my finger is, that you got to get off of there so you can make your mount just more. I don't know. I feel like it looks better. Even if I could take off a little bit more than that, I would. So I was using this Japanese handsaw to do that, just making sure that I wasn't nicking the actual antler anywhere. And so y'all have to be careful about that too. But it looks a lot better now. So I'm going to drill two small holes through here. And once those are drilled, that's what I'm going to drill this into this piece of wood, which is going to be cut in a smaller shape to fit on this piece of wood, like I explained before. And then I'm going to mold the plaster of Paris mixed with grout and some string through there for sturdiness. And then sand it all down to be a nice shape. And then I'm going to stretch the leather, which I showed y'all before, over all that. So anyway, I just want to show y'all this is something y'all should definitely do too. Make sure y'all get as much off of here as you can. Obviously, don't cut it down to nothing. You want there still to be some strength to this thing. So, yeah, just make sure that you, don't score the antlers in the process, because you'll be really upset. I haven't done that yet, but I know it's something to watch out for because it's really easy to do. So I'll see y'all in a bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It took a while for this thing over here to dry. I'll give you all a look-see. Let me wipe it off because there's got a little bit of dust on it from, it looks great. Is the plaque that I stained. That's going to go just like this. Hold on one second. I cut this piece of wood out, this shape, because that's what the antlers are actually going to go on. So I'm going to show y'all how that's going to work also. So, I use the contour of the back of the skull that I cut, try to cut it as clean as possible there, and get it, just cut really well. I mean, obviously it ain't completely perfect, but it's pretty decent. So it's going to go on there just like this, just to kind of give y'all an idea of what it would be like. I wanted to tune y'all in just for y'all to see this part. I cut this piece here, kind of freehand drew it, and out of a just, I guess, 1/4 inch piece of plywood there. And it's going to go right there on the top, just like that. The antlers are going to go back on top of this. I'm going to drill the holes down in through the skull cap. I'll drill a hole here, one here. Once I get it on top of here like I want, I'm going to put a piece of wood under here as a wedge and screw down into this. I'm going to leave the wedge on there. I'm going to pack around all of this with plaster of Paris. I'm going to tune y'all in for that. I want y'all to see every part here. And I was just using these, let's see, this time I might use this. I don't exactly know. You just kind of have to play around with, that might work, kind of. So, just to give y'all a little bit of a look of what this is going to look like, trying to show y'all as best as I can. About something like that. But it's going to be covered with stuff. I think the next one that I'm going to make more or less not pointed or heart shaped. I'm going to try to just round it just really well and cut that shape out, sand it. I did sand this, and I just cut it out of a spare piece of wood. That's it there. Not very pretty, especially on this side. It started vibrating, but I used my sander to sand it, down to a pretty shape. Was kind of torn between which two racks to mount. I want to do this one, which is a bit bigger than the one that's there. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and mount this smaller one first, and so y'all can see all that. I'm gonna cut a piece off this 2x4 right here to turn into a wedge. It's about the right thickness to fit under there. So I'm gonna cut about this big of a piece. Maybe a 1 inch or excuse me, a 1 inch by 1 inch piece, maybe. I'm not sure yet. And if I need more, I'll add little wedges. So I'll tune y'all in for once this is all done, and when I'm about to start packing the plaster of Paris, and I think I might mix with grout and some of this string. And I will tune y'all back in here in a while. Bye-bye. All right. So I went ahead and drilled this. Wanted to show you what I did. So I did drill these and I countersunk them. These are a 1/16 inch bit. That way the screw will still get plenty of meat. Will actually meat, but plenty of grip on the skull. But I also did countersink them. That way they fit flush. That way I ain't got to worry about grinding any screw off. I did try to get as close to this stuff as possible because it's thicker and just more sturdy, and it's easier to countersink into the thick stuff. This stuff here is a lot thinner. But I just wanted to show y'all that it did come out really well. These ain't got to be completely perfect, but I got them as close as possible. I honestly just eyeballed them, and I got the other part over there drying. I decided just to let my wedge dry on there first, and once it was dry, I was going to shave it with my Japanese handsaw. These are very handy. I think I only paid about $10 for that thing or so. Anyways, wanted to show y'all that. Like I said, it came out very, very well. And looking forward to the finished product, and I know that y'all want to see it also, because this is a good way to mount your deer. Even if it's small deer, like, just so you know, like, I got this teeny tiny deer that I shot on public land as like a last day thing, and a lot of people aren't proud of stuff like this. This one is not a teeny tiny one, but the one I got in my hand over here is a lot smaller than the one that's here. It basically fits inside of it. It's just a 1.5-year-old deer. It was a crazy story how I shot the deer. I'll tell y'all later on at some point, especially if one of y'all reminds me. It's not very many people that get to go hunting and take deer, especially with a bow. I was more than happy to do that on public land. I'll give y'all a short story real quick since this video isn't very long yet. I was in a tree that was really narrow, and I didn't have any cover, and it was really windy, and I was swinging around, and I was sticking out like a sore thumb, I felt. So I went ahead and got out the tree and got my climber on my back, and about that time I see this deer walking across the top of the hill through this kind of sagebrush looking stuff. So I took my stand off my back and waited till the deer got down, like walked past me, about 30 yards, and got down into this draw, and I heard him eating and walking his way down the draw. So I was hiding behind this bush right next to where my stand was originally, and as soon as the deer, I knew he was about to step out into an area where I could shoot, I came the full draw. I was shooting a PSE Expedite 2020 or 2019 bow, I don't exactly remember. But he stepped out, and I stuck him right in the middle of his, right under his throat, white throat patch. I dropped him in his tracks, and he died right there. I was more than happy to get that little buck, because, public land is hard. This is a public land deer. I got, let's see, a couple of other ones in the house that I've shot public land that I'm really proud of. But yeah, y'all, don't be ashamed of your deer. If you kill something on public land, just mount it. Especially if it's decent enough to mount, which that one's a little tiny 8-point. It's gonna look good mounted up on the wall in the bathroom, or maybe in the hallway or something like that. Might be able to hang something off of it. I don't know. But it's a way to honor the deer that you killed, and to be able to just remember the event, and this is good memories, and it's definitely something worth memorializing. So anyways, I will tune y'all in for the next portion, which is going to be when this piece over here is dry, and this is screwed to it, and I'm going to talk y'all through the process of how I did it and how I got it lined up and all of that.